Should mention then, there's 8 subspecies of these, of which we've got our endemic Britannica. The others, though, tend to be further east, and they're actually totally different. So this is a very variable species. The ones you get in the east of its range going into towards Asia, they're actually totally grey on the head. They don't have the pattern that we have at all, which makes them look really very different indeed. Hugely territorial. They are very aggressive to other birds on feeders, and they're very aggressive to each other. So you can see them here. Basically, this one here is trying to come in and land, and it's getting a welcoming committee from these two. Basically, don't come here. You did actually manage to land. It pushed this top bird off, which, considering how aggressive that's looking, is surprising. But yeah, very, very territorial. This is a sub-adult bird. It's molting into the head pattern. It's going to be getting more orangey. And those of you who came with us to the salt marsh at Peterston, you can remember maybe that flock of goldfinches we saw had quite a few juveniles in, which basically had a dull brownish head and didn't have this coloration. And Nikki's got a video later that will show that quite nicely.
Sean has asked the question to ask, are goldfinches monochromatic?
Very good question. Thank you very much for asking. And I should have said that. So to us, yes. Basically, they're a good example of a finch. So unlike the chaffinch, which is very much dichromatic, you've got very different males and females. The goldfinch, as far as I'm aware, is monochromatic. I certainly could not tell the difference between a male and female goldfinch. So yeah, thank you for that question. Okay. Moving on then to basically another one of everyone's favorites, the bullfinch. The bullfinch is actually quite closely related to grosbeaks and rosefinches, and also to hawfinch. And this is a species which is very much not monochromatic, because the males and females look totally different. We've got our own endemic subspecies called Pileata. The Pyrula subspecies is found in Northern Europe, right the way through Western Europe, extending all the way through to Eastern China. So really quite a very wide range indeed. Overall, only 5 subspecies. Some of these are actually island races rather than very well dispersed. So really quite a species which has very little variation. A species that's considered a pest because they will feed upon the buds of fruit trees in orchards. And in continental Europe, they're actually controlled to try and minimize the population size to stop devastation of orchards, basically, and citrus groves and places like that. Very distinctive bird. Basically, this beautiful sort of, I call it pinkish, but I was told by somebody else that they consider this to be red. But to me, that's pink. I don't get it. But white on the under tail coverts and the vent, but then very pinky going up right the way onto the side of the head. The black cap, black beak, grey back, and they don't really show much of a wing bar or anything on the wing. The wing looks very dark. The greater coverts have got this pale paneling on the edge, but otherwise, it's really quite a uniform pattern.